domain. And Ed's going to keep it short.
My greatest strength also happens to be my greatest weakness, which is I talk a lot. But I have known the Toastmaster Dan and Yen for a little under a year.
Yes. Yeah, all right.
That's hot stuff. And I moved to St. Louis in 2012. I moved my startup business down there. And if you know Yen and Dan at all, you know that we're involved in that arena. And we started to have a talk about potentially doing business together, and I wound up in a really bad wreck and was in the hospital for about 5.5 months. But the important thing is that Tom Carnahan, I don't know you yet, but I've heard a lot about you. Mark and I have been getting to know each other at the table, and you both mentioned Yen's character. And I feel we should break it down and let you give you an insight on Yen's character. So while I was in the hospital, Yen and Dan came to visit me a lot, along with Liz, but Yen and Dan were there for me when I was heavily sedated. And you know, when you get on OxyContin, you get off the morphine, you know you're taking a lot of drugs. And while I was there, I thought they were being my buddies and really talking to me and keeping my spirits up. But last night, Dan pulled out his iPhone, and I found out how they really treated me with their character. Dan played the phone for me. I had no idea this happened. On my morphine-induced fantasy trip, I started talking about really hot girls in their 20s and how we were going to make all this money doing business. And then I hear Yen's voice in the background going, "Oh yeah? Tell me more about that." And I would keep going. And I would say some other things like there's a giant spider outside my window, and it was just really stupid stuff. And morphine. And then I would get quiet, and Yen would go, "Well, how do you think that's going to work out?" And then I would keep going. And towards the end of this recording I heard last night, courtesy of my good friend Dan, who also kept playing, I go, "Thank God you guys aren't recording me saying all this crazy stuff." And then I saw the phone in Dan's hand, apparently. I have no memory of this, by the way. I just heard the recording yesterday. And I said, "Wait, are you recording this?" And then there was more laughter. And then I said, "Just save it. It's going to be good someday." So my business would have self-destructed had I not had Yen and Dan helping me out and keeping it going while I was in the hospital. So to say, and for absolutely no reward, and to bring Katie into this story, as we got deeper into doing business with each other, Yen is now the CEO of my company, and I'm the COO. And Yen told me, yeah, a lot of people were excited when they saw I was the CEO of Tech Lead. And then Katie got on Facebook and said, "Well, relax, they're not making any money yet." So that's just a little insight into the character. But in the short time I've been in St. Louis, we've all become very good friends. We're in business together, we know each other, we trust each other. So I want to say thank you. Yen does have the character that you all said. He's very chill all the time, and I tend to be a little more, so he kind of reels me back in when it's time. And I'd like to end with a toast as well. I used it the first night I got here, but I think it bears repeating again. So everybody raise your glass. Yen and Katie, may misfortune follow you the rest of your days, and never catch up. Cheers!